As one of the pioneer streaming services, Netflix is known for plenty of iconic series. Stranger Things, Squid Game, the place to watch Breaking Bad over and over again, and World of Goo? But isn't that a game? If you're like me, it was a complete shock to discover a large list of Netflix exclusive mobile games. I've never seen any sort of promotion for them or anything. You'd think that might be a selling point for their product. As long as you have a Netflix subscription, you can download any one of these games. The strangest part is that you can't download them from the App Store directly. You first find the game on Netflix, then you are redirected to the store, and after downloading the game you must log into Netflix again just to play. What a convenient, enjoyable experience! My goal today is to find out what the hell a Netflix game entails, and if there are any good ones. Let's rank every Netflix game. As always, I can't get to literally every game in one video. If you'd like to see me cover more, let me know. It was tough to choose which games to try as well, considering the library. The games range from being based on Netflix properties like Stranger Things or Love is Blind, and others are literally Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I tried to focus on the Netflix exclusives as well as a handful of random ones that sounded cool. That means our list for today includes Stranger Things 1984, Laya's Horizon, Wonderputt Forever, CoComelon Play with JJ, Storyteller, Spongebob Get Cooking, Too Hot to Handle Love is a Game, Nailed It Baking Bash, Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, Ghost Detective, Krispee Street, Highwater, Stranger Things Puzzle Tales, Dead Cells Netflix Edition, Knittens, Desta The Memories Between, Sonic Prime Dash, Rainbow Six SMOL, Poinpy, Death Door, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I really just want to see what GTA is like on mobile. Without further ado, let's find out what is the best game on Netflix and which one makes me want to send my ex some cute pics. How can we talk about Netflix games without talking about Stranger Things? It's been a massive hit for them, and for good reason too. There's probably not a ton of people out there who haven't seen it yet, but I definitely recommend it. Originally called Stranger Things the Game, we now have Stranger Things 1984. Maybe because there's more than one game now, who can say? Not only does it take place in 1984, but the entire graphical style and gameplay elements are based on the time period too. We basically got an old school Zelda game on mobile with a Stranger Things coat of paint. You start off as Hopper in the lab, fighting zombies and exploring the dungeon. The controls, as a mobile game, kinda suck. You just sort of tap the screen and they move and punch for you. I tried connecting my NES controller, but I got a little frustrated. This game really has everything. Unlockable characters, countless secrets and collectibles, a huge map, side quests, and your favorite locations and Easter eggs from the show. I really didn't expect I would like this one, but it's such a huge game with new places to constantly explore, I really got addicted to it. I played for an hour and a half and only reached about 30% of the game, so I honestly might play more in my free time. I thought it was really charming and a great start to our list. S tier. From the creators of Alto's Adventure, a game I always wanted to cover on my classic mobile games tier list, we have Laya's Horizon. I believe this one is also exclusive to Netflix, which is pretty cool. I've only heard good things about this game, and boy was that for a reason. The tutorial helps you get used to controlling your arms and movement, but there's really nothing that compares to flying through the village for the first time. It is the best feeling in the world, and I instantly got goosebumps just flying through this cool new place. Of course, I then bonked my head into the wall. And then I wanted to see if I could dive bomb and kill myself. But then I decided to see what the game has to offer. As I'm sure you'd expect, there are races you can beat in and other general missions like flying through rings. But you're also allowed to just ignore all that and explore. You can try to go as far as you can, or rack up points by risking your life getting close to trees and buildings. It's such an exhilarating game. I've never seen a mobile game with as big of a world to openly explore. I did encounter one glitch where I was still flying while in a cutscene, and it does burn your phone out pretty quick, but that really doesn't matter. A game that makes you want to explore and try new things is pretty magical. We're 2 for 2, baby. Don't worry, there'll be stinkers too. We have a CoComelon game coming in a second. The only Netflix game I tried before making this video is Wonderputt Forever. I have an addiction to mini golf games, I think. Can you blame me? Mini golf is like the perfect date. You get to go through 18 holes, and then you get to play golf after. It's the best! I hope you're not sick of me saying this, but man, Wonderputt is a cool game. I've really never played another golf game like it. I absolutely love golf games that aren't on a conventional golf course. In Wonderputt, you get to play golf anywhere and everywhere. At the circus, bouncing with animals, skipping across the water on an endless ocean, avoiding vortexes in space, journeying to the center of the earth, eating hors d'oeuvres at a fancy party, and so on. Not every level is amazing, my least favorite being this one with the pissing statue, although it is funny when he pees on his own head. But the concepts are really what makes this one so fun. The way each hole evolves into one another is always incredible to watch. It's honestly my favorite part of the game. Sadly, there's only 3 courses, but that's still a lot to enjoy. I don't think this one is quite on the same level as the other two, despite being very good. A tier. No game is quite as sophisticated as this one. I like to crack a nice Chardonnay and grab my big toddler iPad for this one. When I saw there was a CoComelon game on here, I knew there would be nothing funnier than watching a man in his 20s attempt to give his thoughtful opinions on it. Right away they gave me a freaking math problem so that toddlers aren't able to get into this thing. To be fair, they could just guess correctly. Anyways, the answer is obviously Uh-oh. Guys, I might not be smart enough to play this. By process of elimination, I finally got in. Now, watch me run around my house like a boss. I played a game where they asked me in the song where a duck was, and I was already about to blow my brains out listening to this crap.
Where is the third little duck? Quack, quack. Where is the third little duck? Quack, quack. Where is the fourth little duck? Quack, quack.
If you can't find it, they literally zoom all the way in and point to it. They have no faith in our youth. There's a great Easter egg where you open a mouse door and the mouse waves at you. The music is even put in correctly. Listen to this part.
Peas, it's time.
That's not edited, that just happens in the game. There's a mini game where you tap a swing like a rhythm mini game, you build a snowman, you race toy boats and they teach you how to blow, all with the ugliest baby in the history of kids games. Despite all this, I gotta say this is probably one of the best toddler games I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot. My nephew's a little weirdo. There's a crazy amount of stuff to do and the game basically refuses to let you mess up or lose ever. And despite the ugly characters, it isn't that ugly of a game. Some sections actually look pretty decent. As a kids game, sure, S, whatever, but we're literally gonna rank GTA San Andreas. It'd be very funny to see these two games in the same tier. Obviously, this game is not for me, so D tier. A few games on this list I was actually considering buying on Steam, so it worked out amazingly that Netflix offers them for free. I'd say that's one of the service's main benefits, but let's touch on that more towards the end. I really love puzzle games, and I've heard good things about this one called Storyteller. It's apparently extremely short, so it might not be worth purchasing. It's pretty much the perfect game for Netflix then. The whole game is treated like a book with a narrator and everything. He even notices when you skip him.
At the end of this book lies a...
In each chapter, you must tell the story how the game wants you to. By choosing the correct order of events, you can get a specific ending. Most are based on classic stories like Adam and Eve. There's even an Oedipus one, which is pretty nuts. The game is extremely charming and you feel like a genius every time you get the order correct. By the end, I was flying through them, it just clicked for me. I beat it all in a little over an hour, and even played a bit of the bonus devil mode options afterwards. This game is honestly amazing. If you love puzzle games, I have no doubt you'll enjoy it. I am super happy I could play it through a Netflix subscription as well. As I said, it only took an hour or so, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but to do that without an extra cost to me is wonderful. I really just gotta give it S tier, man. I knew I had to play a Spongebob game when I saw there was a Spongebob game. Every game service has a Spongebob game. At this point, I might as well rank every Spongebob game. I'm not doing that for the record, but I'll at least rank this one. SpongeBob Get Cooking lets us live our dream of working a minimum-wage job in Bikini Bottom. You can tell by these high-quality animations that this game is good. As someone who plays a lot of Papa's games, this is sort of a more simplified version of that. Our first job is making pancakes and coffee for your customers. Pretty simple stuff. And check out the leaderboard. I'm about to beat Mario! I rushed into day 2 and crushed it. Squidward doesn't look weird or creepy at all. And I beat Mario?! This game just gets better and better. So, to summarize, the game has horribly unfunny dialogue, an insultingly bad art style, and a stressful gameplay loop that has you serving pancakes in the SpongeBob game, the series known for Krabby Patties and literally nothing more. Obviously, at some point, you're gonna make burgers in this game. I'm just insulted they'd even force you to make pancakes, especially as the first thing in this game. D tier, dude. What a strange looking tier list so far. Let's cover a couple more games that are Netflix oriented. First of which is Too Hot to Handle, Love is a Game. You should have just kept that at Too Hot to Handle. That sounds so freaking dumb, dude. I've never watched a show and never will, but from this opening cutscene, all I know is that these people are too hot to handle. Oh, now I get! The rules are, you can't have sex or you lose $200,000. I should have gotten that money a long time ago, dude. This is a challenge? Jokes aside, this is a video game. Of course I can keep myself from having sex, it's not freaking real. Then again, neither is the money. My character is Stinky Susie, and I really want to make her as ugly or weird as possible, but the game literally only lets you be too hot to handle. Not fair, dude. First we meet the yoga instructor Marissa and the Chad stock investor Liam. Apparently Stinky Susie would like to count his abs with her tongue. Technically that's not sex, so I'll allow it. We have Dakota, the web designer, and Jada, the museum curator. They ask my name, I tell them Stinky Susie, and apparently that suits me. What a compliment. But no one compares to the model, Alex. Put some freaking pants on, freak. The music they play when they introduce the characters is so unbelievably funny to me. Listen to Justin and Theo's intros. What an insane game. There's more characters, but honestly way more than I was expecting. When did we get to the sexing already? Introduced like an alien cone we all worship. It explains the contestants didn't know they're on a show about not having sex. They are really missing out by not having an incel on the show or something. I would be the perfect contestant, just saying. I finally got to break the rules and kiss someone, jeez. This game has so much dialogue, it took a freaking half an hour to get to this point. I ranked a similar game in my Apple Arcade video with a similar conclusion. Shouldn't these games be exciting? Full of drama? Insane scenarios? Who's even making it this far without getting bored? It's a funny premise, sure, but I have to imagine the actual show is way more interesting than this. The only good part was when that one girl said Stinky Susie was her fitting name. And that's not even supposed to happen! D tier. I'm a sucker for Cooking Mama, so I really hope this baking game can scratch that itch. Apparently this is mostly for multiplayer, but I don't really have friends, so I guess I'm playing this one alone. I was really surprised at just how much freedom you had. I took the first one very seriously, trying to sculpt it just right, paint the face correctly, and place the flowers as asked. Then I got to do things my way. I'm making the most sus cake you've ever seen. The game actually sort of rewarded me for my bad behavior. Kept saying, oh, how creative. It's like art school all over again, dude. Truly though, this game lets you do whatever the hell you want. You can follow the recipe to a T, or do things your own way. I made Golden Freddy at one point and they loved it. The game encourages creativity, which is honestly sort of better than Cooking Mama. I think a lot of people really enjoy this game. To me, it's not much more than a baking game, despite being one of the best ones I've tried personally. It can't compete with the others despite that though. B tier. Our next game in the series of games Jake really wanted to try but didn't want to pay full price for, we have Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. I absolutely love Shovel Knight, but I'm not a big match 3 guy. This is the perfect chance for me to see if I made the right call or if I've been missing out. As expected, the game is stunning, as all Shovel Knight games are. The brief look at the overworld is amazing. Unlike most match 3 games, you're actually part of the board. Shovel Knight moves around to take out objects and enemies. They don't just sit there and take it though, they'll punch you right back. Now, I don't know if you've tried this game before, but is it normal to just completely not get it? I didn't pay a crazy amount of attention to the tutorial, but I sort of thought I'd figure things out. All of a sudden I'm dropped into a level and I'm dying every 3 seconds. The screen fills up and all of a sudden, it's game over. I took a breath and decided to think about what works. You can kill enemies of the same type in chains, taking them all out at once. Keeping an eye on your health is important to staying alive. And grabbing the keys and getting the hell out of there is crucial. And honestly, I started to do a lot better. Not amazing, not even close. I get my first boss fight, super excited, and then lost of course. But I found a secret and even unlocked Shield Knight. After playing for a while, I'm not sure this is my kind of puzzle game. Storyteller is much more up my alley. But that doesn't make it a bad game, it's really cool, and I'm sure people out there are obsessed with it. This game takes time and skill to master, and I'm missing both. I did manage to get pretty dang far, but still felt like I didn't really know what I was doing. I think the graphics and music are really cool, but other than that, it's gonna go in B tier as well. Just not my thing. Ghost Detective is a hidden object game. These could not be simpler, but something in my brain just loves them. I feel like they're typically a 2D illustration though, not full 3D environments you can zoom into. Add the bonus of our main character dying in the first level and becoming the ghost detective, and we've got ourselves a fun little story. The first issue comes in pretty quick though. I'm forced to replay the same locations again and again with different objects to find. I feel like that really takes the fun out of things. Most locations aren't really jam-packed with objects either. Most of the objects on screen are just the ones you need. And they reuse a lot of them, so after I'm told to find the same banner for the 5th time, I already know what I'm looking for. What I love in hidden object games are those huge areas packed to the brim with objects to distract you. Finding the tiny little items is a blast. The main thing this one has going for it is the overall mystery of how you died and using the clues you find to solve it. But the boring hidden object levels, confusing loot boxes and currencies, and general structure of the game are really lacking, I feel. And then, while I was having fun collecting objects, all of a sudden, BAM! It's a match 3 game too. Like what? Why? I wonder if there are even more mobile game tropes trapped in here I haven't even discovered. Anyways, TLDR, C tier. I actually had no idea our next game, Krispee Street, was also a hidden object game. What a nice coincidence. However, this is much closer to Where is Waldo, and way more up my alley. We're looking for specific characters this time around, lost in a field of random pedestrians. You're given a little circle of what to look for and must match it up with each corresponding character. It might seem impossible at first, but thanks to the context clues in the circle, it can actually go pretty quick. If you see a car, you know they're on the road. If you see a line, you know exactly which part of the basketball court to look at. Stuff like that. The first 2 levels make it feel so simple, so quick, and then you're literally dropped into a safari with 109 characters to find. This is like a week-long project, dude. I can't even imagine finding them all. This place is huge! The game is massive, and I can only imagine how tedious it must be to make all these characters. It's a very cute and charming game, and I really enjoyed it. I've played tons of games just like it though. I actually 100% in a game called Hidden Folks, which is honestly a harder version of the same game. It's black and white, and sometimes you have to find a freaking fork in an entire neighborhood. So yes, I do love these games, but they're all pretty much the same. B tier it is. Highwater is probably the closest thing we've seen to a straight up indie game put on mobile. It's a beefy game, and the short time I spent with it definitely won't do the thing justice. It takes place in a post-apocalyptic flooded Earth, as you can clearly see right as you start the game. The world and atmosphere of this game is so cool, seeing all these signs and locations left behind. It's pretty dark too, there's a bunch of hanging bodies you see right away, but I don't want to show it in case YouTube gets mad at me. You're tasked with making it from point A to point B, meeting new characters, completing missions, and just generally exploring as you please. For example, check out this wedding we go to, and when the ceremony ends, everyone immediately starts busting it down. These people are in the apocalypse and they're freaking throwing it back. Look at the bride. Look at the priest. Anyways, back to the actual game. I do think driving around and exploring is very cool, despite being a tiny bit tedious and boring at times. But then we have the fighting portions. Some of you perked up hearing that, and some of you, like me, sunk your head down. I don't always hate these, but I think this game did it very poorly. The way you move and attack is not intuitive, and if you don't fight in the exact way the game wants you to, you lose. For example, I meant to beat up this drunk guy, but I can't hit him with my weapon. No, too easy. I have to push him with my shield. Obviously. It is funny we just let this guy come with us though. But yeah, I think this very seriously takes the game down a few tiers. It's an awesome premise and feels very cool to drive through, but every time I gotta fight, it makes me want to quit. People who love this type of game, I'm sure will love it though. Personally, I want to see this as a movie or show. Wink wink Netflix, but not so much a game. Sorry to say, C tier. I figured we'd start the list praising a Stranger Things game so we could also crap on the one and only Stranger Things Puzzle Tales. Someone had the brilliant idea of me ranking every branded Match 3 game out there, which is really funny, but also be extremely boring because they're literally all the goddamn same thing! At least let me play Honey Pop so I can have sex after I win, because I gotta get the feeling Vecna isn't going to have sex with me. Actually, scratch that. I don't want to have sex with Vecna. Have you seen that thing? Anyways, what the hell do you want me to say? I told you, these are all the same! Even if you are in love with all things Stranger, you must admit there's no point ever playing this game. They chose to copy Best Fiend style of attacking enemies, but guess what? So did Plants vs. Zombies, and that game is dog dookie! I get to play as my 3 favorite Stranger Things characters, Argyle, Officer Callahan, and Susie. There's even a battle pass, people! The art is kinda nice, but that's it! Big, fat, D tier, dude. I have only ever heard good things about Dead Cells, but I've never played it. This version is literally called Netflix Edition, which no other game on the service has, so I really wanted to see what that meant. Plus, I get to try Dead Cells for the first time, albeit on mobile of all things. But having a freaking roguelike Metroidvania on my phone is pretty awesome, I must say. You get to explore these locations and take out enemies, slowly collecting upgrades and weapons as you go. If you die, you're back to square one, but there are permanent upgrades to unlock that make you stronger each time. The world is really cool, and even with the touchscreen, it's pretty satisfying to hack and slash enemies. What makes the Netflix edition special is that you get all the DLC from the get-go. I walked into an area called the Castle Outskirts and some sick Castlevania music started playing. I'm pretty sure this is one of the DLC things, and I got to play it in my first 20 minutes. Dead Cells is clearly a great game, but as I said before, roguelikes aren't really my thing. I really love Metroidvanias though, so getting to play this was a blast. I can't help feeling it would be much better on my Switch or something, but I'm really glad I got the chance to try it. And I don't think the touchscreen controls were too bad either. Certainly not ideal, but done very well. I do think this is a very good game, and I'm still going to put it in S tier. Let's go from the dark, edgy Dead Cells to Knittens. Aw, they're so cute! How could we not play a game with a kitten unicorn? Wait a second, I'm pretty sure Lego already did that. Well, wouldn't you know it, we got ourselves yet another match 3 game. Netflix, are you okay? Who hurt you? This one isn't even tied to a brand. Who the hell is even going to give this thing a chance? Well, me! I'm giving it the chance! Would you believe me if I said this is 100 times better than the Stranger Things one? Crazy, I know, but hear me out. The handcrafted style of the menu, the match 3 stuff, and the little hats you can make for your cats? It's very charming. Every power-up and move is either knitting or kitten related. They really stuck to the style. And when it came time to name my kitten, the given name was Oliver. I literally have an orange cat named Oliver, and I love him! So of course I immediately went and bought him a Batman mask. I have never played a mobile game that has let me do that before, so that's definitely a bonus. Anyways, it's better than the stupid Stranger Things one because it's not constantly shoving microtransactions and marketable characters to try to unlock down my throat. They're trying to fight for your attention as much as possible, only grabbing people by slapping Stranger Things in the name. Sure, I get to play as my 3 favorite characters, Argyle, Officer Callahan, and Susie, but what else is there? Knittens knows its audience and isn't doing anything aggressively. You take your time, you get a cute kitty, and give him an epic Batman hat. It's perfect! Obviously still a match 3 game, but one of the best one I've seen entirely because some stupid brand hasn't forced themselves on you. C tier. I can't believe I talked that long about Knittens. Let's give a proper games in spotlight, shall we? Desta and the Memories Between launched exclusively on mobile through Netflix, and a year later was ported to Steam and Switch. It's a big boy game made for mobile, so that's a great start. And once you know it, but one of the greatest mobile game developers of all time created it. Can you guess what other game they made? Oh, no big deal. Just Monument Valley! Literally one of the greatest mobile games in existence, dude! I'm pumped! The gameplay is way different than Monument Valley, but man, the style and cutscenes are so well made. I'll never get enough of this art style. The story felt really similar to Highwater, complete with a very similar feeling combat system. Thankfully, unlike that game, it's the focus of the gameplay and was done quite well. It's kind of like an XCOM game with dodgeball mechanics. Every time our main character, Desta, goes to sleep, they get sent to this never-ending dodgeball game. You can use teammates to pass the ball and take out enemies. It's super intuitive and feels great to succeed. It's very heavy on its story, so if that's your thing, I'm sure you'll connect with this game. I'm really big on gameplay though, and I can't say I'm feeling this one. It's definitely better than Highwater's combat, but it still doesn't quite grab me. I played both Mario and Rabbids games, and I don't even like Rabbids, but I felt that the combat there was really fun. I have to give points for the presentation and dodgeball mechanics though, so let's put it in B tier. We got Spongebob, we got Stranger Things, and we got Sonic the Hedgehog. The 3 S's of Sniper Wolf all in one place. When Netflix got the chance to make their own Sonic show, Sonic Prime, it made complete sense to also make a game. That's kind of what Sonic is known for. And can't you believe it, they chose the most original idea after making a match 3 game. Temple Run. I've never seen anyone try that before. Anyways, isn't the point of Sonic that he goes really fast? This is like the slowest baby easy game I've ever played in my life. How does anyone ever die in this game? Wait, what are you doing? Stop watching! Don't watch this part! Stop! Look, I really want to win those cream tokens. Your mom has been begging for cream, dude. When you beat a section, you do a little QuickTime event, and they give you When you beat a section, you do a little QuickTime event, and they give you 10 Big the Cat tokens or something. Except we need 500 tokens to get the character. Are you telling me I have to do this shit 50 times just to play as freaking Big the Cat? That's it. I'm going back to Knittens. I'm just gonna name my cat Big and live my dream over there. The most insane part is that Sonic Dash already exists. This version just uses a couple characters in the TV show and nothing more. Great, I get to play as Rusty Rose, my favorite. More like Busty Rose, am I right? My question is, where are the Angry Birds? They freaking got Jet the Falcon in here, but Chuck is nowhere to be seen? That's it. Get there! Everyone's heard of Rainbow Six before, right? I think Rainbow Six Siege is the most famous. It's a pretty popular shooter game. So how do we translate this to a new mobile game? We go from this to this. Say hello to Rainbow Six SMOL. And yes, they chose to spell it in the most annoying way possible. I decided to include it just because seeing it on Netflix pissed me off, but who knows, it could actually be fun. The style is pretty cute, although I constantly feel like the screen is just a little blurry, which consistently annoyed me the whole time. You basically go on little missions to defuse a bomb or defend a checkpoint, and each level is like less than a minute long, at least in the ones that I played. You have upgrades and weapons to choose from, and ultimately the gameplay is running around and pressing the shoot button, as the game auto-aims for you. It sounds pretty bad, but it really wasn't terrible. My phone got so hot I had to quit after 10 minutes, but it was sort of enjoyable. The real conspiracy is that this game is not original. It's not even a Rainbow Six game, dude. It was first released as a game called Tiny, and Ubisoft must have bought the rights to it and slapped a brand name on it. What's stupid is I can't imagine anyone who likes Rainbow Six Siege would like this game. It's like the complete opposite demographic. It seems so dumb to have the brand even tied to it. Everything I liked about the game was everything that Tiny brought to the table. And I absolutely hated every idea Tom Clancy forced himself onto. I hate you, Tom Clancy. C tier. I almost said S tier. Another overly cute game is Poinpy, which I still don't really know what the name means even after playing. It's similar to Doodle Jump or Super Leap Day, as you are climbing an endless terrain, but it's really not about distance. Your focus is to collect the fruits needed without touching the ground, and once you have all the fruit, you can stomp down and get your points. If you fail to get the right fruit in time, you lose a heart, and if you die, you're back to square one. It's an insanely simple game, but I was surprised how addicted I was to it. It's really not easy either. You'd think it'd be so easy to just get the right fruit, but eventually the challenge gets to you and it's game over. It's a really short and sweet game that isn't trying to be anything more than this one premise, which is very refreshing. I think I'll put it in B tier. The complete opposite tone here with Death's Door. In this game, you're a Reaper, invincible in the black and white world, but mortal in the real one. Immediately we get to fight this massive boss, and I thought that was a really fun way to start the game. I was hooked on the story and setting from the get-go, and what's even better is that this is basically a 3D Metroidvania game. It's very similar to Dead Cells, but doesn't really have that roguelike aspect. I got to fight a few bosses and even made it to a massive castle fight. It was very cool, but I knew there was no way I was going to beat on my first try. I love the death screen too, just says death right in your face. So awesome. I really enjoyed my time with it, and I think I might look into getting it on my Switch. It's definitely my kind of game, but the touchscreen controls were way too lacking to keep playing any longer through Netflix. Great game, only held back by being on my phone. A tier. Finally, let's answer the question I've been dying to know since I started this. What the hell is GTA like on mobile? Plenty of console games made with controllers in mind have made mobile ports, and not every game does it well. So I want to see what kind of hijinks I can get up to. Of course, the wackiest and crazy thing you can do is wait an hour for your 6 GB to download. But then we're ready to go. Now, I didn't grow up playing this game, but I know just looking at this one scene is going to be super nostalgic for a lot of you. The character models are kind of funny nowadays, but nobody wants this thing remastered. All the charm comes from keeping the graphics just like this. Anyways, for the sake of being fully transparent, this gameplay isn't mine. I had to play on my friend's phone because my phone doesn't have the latest iOS. I'm a loser, I get it, but anyways, I did play it. Despite the story and missions of the game, my favorite thing to do is just get in a car and get the cops chasing me. And oh boy were they pissed. Running up to people on the street and punching them for no reason is a close second. Or just running them over. Just as freaking fun. CJ seems like a cool dude, and I enjoyed Grand Thefting some autos with the guy. The game looks great and honestly played just fine with the touch controls. It is a strange but awesome feeling to have a GTA game on your phone. And if you're interested, Netflix has more GTA games to play too. It's such a huge world to just drive around in, and you can totally play through the story for a full console game experience on mobile. I'm impressed, and I think we've got to put San Andreas up in S tier where it belongs. Sometimes at the end of these videos, I mention that I found a game or two I'm gonna keep and continue to play, and I really do, but most of the time it just ends up taking space on my phone and is never touched again. But I have generally become addicted to some of these games, to the point that this video took way longer to make than it probably should. Not even all the games in S tier are the ones that hooked me. I freaking played the Ghost Detective and Krispee Street hidden object games for hours, dude. I am absolutely keeping a bunch of games from this list. It is all thanks to freaking Netflix. Who would have thought that Netflix of all things has such a great list of games? Whether it's an exclusive like the Stranger Things or Laya's Horizon games, or just a beloved classic like Bloons TD6 and Dead Cells, there's a great selection of games to play. A lot of you probably already have Netflix, which is great, but I guess the real question is, should you get a Netflix subscription to play these? Well, probably not. It depends. If there's something you really want to try, then buying a single month of Netflix ain't gonna break the bank. But really, I think Netflix games should be seen as a nice little bonus for already using Netflix. Get some worth out of your subscriptions, people. My family's addicted to subscribing to crap like Paramount Plus, watching one movie, and then paying for it month after month forever. Try these games, watch Breaking Bad, and then stop giving Netflix your money. Anyways, I have a Patreon, so yeah, no, I cannot bring myself to ask for money after that. That would be pretty evil. If you like my channel and want to support me, you can. You know the drill. Thank you to all my members. You know for a fact there's at least one person here who forgot they became a member and have been paying me like a streaming service for months now. If you want to be confused where those $2 are going every month until the end of time, then please consider becoming a member of the channel today. Thank you Leland, Patrick Bayerjan, Honomaki, Bright Streak, MD Switchy, Dolphin Rider H2O, Dojo Master, Christoph Creations, Lavatane, Jasper TV, Keep, Omegon, Gall Guy, It's Me, Ali, Jeff the Legend, HTA, Cheaper Ying, Al, Gotham, Marie, and Callum Ford. I've seen suggestions to cover every Half-Brick game, so we could try that, or if there are other mobile game subscription services, I'd love to try those too. I've also thought about trying Classic Mobile Games 4, or even modern mobile games, so let me know what you want to see. I love doing this little game collection videos, so let's keep doing them. If you give me no suggestions, I will play every Merge Mansion-like game. That's a threat, people. Netflix games? Did you just say... Did you just say Netflix games? I can't believe it. You just said Netflix games. How dare you say Netflix games in my vicinity? That's my cool new character. I really hope you like him.